Hello and welcome to another edition of Life Outdoors. I am your host, Chris Reckling. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day and hopefully you've been outside lately. It has been hot, and most times this time of year when it's super hot out, people like to go to the beach, they like to go to the pool, they like to go to the river or lake, and it's really important to be careful and take precautions, especially if you're not a strong swimmer, and just know what's out there because better safe than sorry. And today's guest is a perfect person to have about that. This is Dan Jones. He is with the City of Norfolk Parks and Recreation, head of beaches, lifeguards, aquatics, and open water. Dan, welcome to Life Outdoors here on Wavy Plus.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Your job covers a lot of ground. You cover a lot of ground in the city of Norfolk. The Mermaid City, outdoors, pools, beaches, rivers, a little bit of everything. Tell me about how you got started and how you got wanted to be started in that profession.
Well, I was always a swimmer growing up. My brothers and sisters were lifeguards, and my dad made sure we could swim in the ocean by the age of, I don't know, I'll say 3 or 4. Maybe I'm exaggerating. But all through high school, I lifeguarded. I lifeguarded while I was in college, and it was a great summer job. And so we try to recruit and make sure kids know it really is a great summer job. And that led into a career.
I led into a career with the City of Norfolk Parks and Rec, and let's kind of bring people up to speed because most people in Hampton Roads they're very familiar with the ocean front and the beaches along the city of Virginia Beach. But for Norfolk, you guys are situated on the Chesapeake Bay, but there are 7 miles of beaches in the city of Norfolk. Tell us about it.
Sure, we patrol between the bridge and Little Creek. And we have 2 park beaches that we're staffing right now with a total of 8 towers with beach lifeguards. And we have ATV units that we respond to 911 calls and fire calls. We work closely with the fire department and the police department and the park rangers with the city. And we're all responding to emergencies, whether they be medical emergencies on the beaches or water-related emergencies.
Your lifeguards are sort of the eyes and ears of what's happening on the beach because this time of year there's so many people out enjoying it, and when accidents happen, they happen quick and you don't know it. It's important to be Johnny on the spot. Talk about the most critical thing that your lifeguards need to know about, like always be ready, always be on guard. What is it you teach your lifeguards?
Well, we have to be up in our towers. We have to be watching the people in the water and we have to know what's going on and try to predict what's getting ready to happen if we can. We don't have a lot of room for error, so we're going to respond to anyone that's in distress, whether it's a 6-year-old child, like I pulled in a 6-year-old child over last weekend, and or it could be somebody who's being blown offshore with an offshore wind. They might be 200 or 300 yards off. We have to take a rescue board out and pull them in.
And let's talk about that because one of the biggest unknowns is the weather, which is something that you should always know about. Whenever you're going to the beach or pool or whatever it is, always know if there is a chance of afternoon thunder showers or be aware of lightning because I got to be honest, very few things in life scare me except lightning.
Sure. We cleared this morning. We cleared some of our swim areas for lightning, thunder and lightning. So it's always dangerous, and it's never a good idea to be anywhere on the water or close to the water during an electrical storm. You shouldn't be boating. You shouldn't be in an indoor swimming pool or an outdoor swimming pool. And so we have strict procedures that we follow to clear. And we want it to be safe for the patrons and for our lifeguards who are out there protecting everyone. So we're gonna pull everybody out and we're gonna take cover for 30 minutes and each time we hear the thunder or lightning.
Well, let's talk about the water there and along the bay because with the ocean, there's rips, there's large surf, there's drop-offs, there's sandbars. Those things exist in the bay as well. Maybe not as extreme, but it doesn't take much. Talk about the water conditions there along the bay that you want people to understand.
Sure. We have rip currents that develop with any type of wave action. And we've got sandbars. We have troughs between the sandbars where a lot of people get in trouble. The offshore wind I mentioned earlier is a huge factor, especially somebody who's on an inflatable or paddle board. And then we do have rips that develop. So we try to identify the rips and warn individuals where the rips are, and then our lifeguards are trained to go pull people out.
And you know, every body of water has its own issues, and with the bay, since it's a little flatter and it doesn't drop off as quick, people feel like they can go further out. You know, at low tide, they might feel like they can get to chest deep or whatever, and that's where maybe they get blown out.
Sure. Well, they'll wade out and 50 yards or so, but then there is a drop off, and it's going to go about 12 to 18 feet, and ultimately 20 some feet, not too far off, and that's going to be high or low tide. But we have a lot of folks who do wade out too far. Also realizing that we have swim buoys out there that protect the swimmers from the boaters. And so the boat traffic is, if they're respecting our swim areas, and our swimmers are going to be safer.
It's always important to, if you're not a strong swimmer, swim in front of a lifeguard. But since there's 7 miles of beach there in the city of Norfolk, there's other issues to be aware of. You have rock jetties, you have drain pipes, you have lots of construction. There's other man-made things that people should be aware of. Of course, never get on them, right?
Sure. It's illegal to be on the pipes and the rock jetties and the breakwaters. Most of all the medicals that I respond to on a typical weekend when I'm on patrol on an ATV are people cut up on the rocks and pipes, and that's 90% of what I'm responding to. And so I'm patching people up. It could be something as serious enough that they need stitches. I'm doing a bleeding control and transporting them off the beach, or we're calling in the medics. We had a stingray injury last weekend where we had an individual who was stung. I was evaluating him, and he went unconscious. And at that point, I had to get him off the beach to meet up with fire rescue.
Well, you just opened the door for me. I was a lifeguard on the ocean front in Sandbridge for many years when I was younger, and I stepped on a stingray and was stung. Man, that was unpleasant.
Sure.
The most painful thing I've ever witnessed in my life. It was awful. So, and you have a lot of stingrays on the bay there. They're there. Shuffle your feet.
Right.
I mean,
Yep.
but it's easier said than done. You just don't know.
Yep, when we see, we do a call out for hazardous marine life, and we'll then make announcements to everybody to shuffle their feet because we have stingrays in the area.
Okay, so we're seeing here some of the video. We saw lifeguard awards and some of your guards. Anything you want to say about how many guards you got? And congrats, you received a pretty amazing award.
A few years ago, we were fortunate enough I was able to bring a man in who was several hundred yards offshore, and I got recognized by the American Red Cross for the National Life Saving Award. We also have a local Virginia Lifeguard Association. Every year we recognize lifeguards throughout the state who save lives. And we have a ceremony for them. We have rescue tubes that, like you see in the slides here.
Right.
And it's really nice. So we want to make sure that people understand that these lifeguards are protecting individuals and they're saving lives every day.
Every day, and you do so much more than patrol the beaches. You also have pools across Hampton, across the city of Norfolk. So we're going to take a short break now. We'll come back and talk about more aquatic action in the city of Norfolk with Dan Jones, head of beaches, lifeguards, aquatics, and open water. So stick around for that. Welcome back to Life Outdoors. I am your host, Chris Reckling. We are joined today by Dan Jones. He is the head of beaches, lifeguards, aquatics, and open water for the city of City of Norfolk Parks and Recreation. In the first segment, we talked about everything you should need to know about going to the beach in the city of Norfolk, but always take precaution. Make sure you're mindful of the water. Other tips people should consider when they go to the beach, Dan.
Absolutely. So know the weather forecast and prepare for it. And always bring shade, bring water, bring a cooler so it keeps that water cool for you, so you're going to drink it more often. Parents, you need to watch your children. Have a meetup point in case somebody gets missing. And that happens a lot. We're always locating missing kids, and sometimes we find the kids who have lost their parents, which is always a better thing than the parents coming to us who have lost a child. Protect yourself, sunscreen, but know the water. Understand that there is a tide change, and that tide change could occur during your stay. So the water could be several feet deeper, or shallow. Shallow water can be dangerous too, especially if we don't like for you to dive headfirst in any type of open water because you can't see the bottom.
Right.
And swim near a lifeguard. Call 911 for any emergency because we need to get there and we need to find you, whatever part of the beaches that you're in. We need to be able to locate you. So know where you are, what access you are, so that when you call that in, we can get to you as quickly as possible. Because really, seconds do count. And we'll have individuals that will be taken offshore or be missing offshore. They'll be swimming parallel to the shoreline, and they've lost their friends have lost track of them. And so it's important for us to know what direction they're going, if they're going east-west, and that way it helps us in finding, locating individuals.
And when it getting back to lost children, I remember as a guard, most of the times we always found them downwind.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So
Sure.
if you've lost your child for a second, they usually just go with the wind. Rarely do they go upwind, but that's another thing.
And that really is interesting, and we follow that as well. But know what they're wearing, and make sure your child knows what your name is, full name.
Yep.
So that when we're calling out, we know who we're calling for, and their address, all of the above, and a phone number that we could call their parent's cell phone.
And you mentioned bring lots of water and shade and everything you need to be comfortable. Try to limit your glass, and first and foremost, whatever you take to the beach, take it home with you. Always throw your stuff away. Always clean up your spot, and be respectful of other people.
Yep.
This is things like it's common courtesy.
Glass
right?
bottles, loud music, alcohol on the beach.
All that stuff.
People will sometimes bury their glass bottles in the sand. Diapers buried in the sand.
Fishing gear,
sure,
hooks,
Yep.
fishing line, all that stuff.
It's about respect.
Take it with you. Okay, so let's transition from beaches to pools. You're also in charge of aquatics in the city of Norfolk. How many pools does the city have? And tell us what you know.
We have 3 indoor pools. We have lap swimming at all times. We have group swims that come in from our summer camps, and other groups that have large amount of children that we'll bring in, and we introduce them to the water. In some cases, we'll do water safety with the kids and swimming lessons. During the school year, we have a year-round second grade swim program with the public school systems, where we do a 5-day swimming and water safety program, and we've been doing that for decades. It's called School Splash.
School Splash. The thing about swimming lessons is mostly accessibility for everybody. How many pools do you have in the city of Norfolk? And you have one that's being built right now, right?
Yep, we have 3 that are in operation right now, and we are building or rebuilding a new pool, but it's going to be a complete demolition and rebuild on Newport Avenue.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody loves an indoor pool. I mean, that's when you get in the water year round.
Sure. And we have year-round programs, year-round swimming lessons. We have lifeguard training programs. And so we have pools in all parts of the city, and we're growing and building more. We have an outdoor pool at Chesterfield Pool as well. It's open 6 days a week.
I love that. All right, and you're seeing some footage here of kayaks and some more training. When you see what you want to talk about, go for it. I mean, there's
Sure.
Sheriff's Department, right?
Well, these are actually park rangers, Norfolk Park
Okay.
Rangers. So I'm training them on these days. Actually, it was about a 5-week course. I trained them in wilderness first aid and remote medical training. So they're trained like first responders. And this program here is a triathlon program where we're training pool lifeguards to be triathlon lifeguards in open water. So we bring them into the swimming pool. We teach them how to use kayaks, surf rescue boards, and search and rescue operations and skills.
That flotation device is so critical when someone is in trouble. Don't ever swim out without something like that.
Absolutely.
I mean, find something that floats. Now, kayaks, you also take people kayaking.
We do. We have a kayaking program that we have been doing for years. So I'll take large groups of kids from summer camps or other programs that we support. And they're kids that have never been on a kayak before, never been on a canoe. We put them in life jackets, teach them how to use it and the importance of having life jackets. And we'll take them for a 30-minute paddle. And it's a lot of fun. The kids enjoy it. We enjoy it. It's not hard for me to get lifeguards to work with me to do that. We also have a new outdoor recreation program, part of the Parks and Rec program, and we've got specialists who are working to do similar type programs with the kids.
And so kayaking in open water comes with its own obstacles as well, usually other boats, other traffic.
Yes.
Talk about some of the pitfalls for when you're kayaking, and personal flotation device is so important as well.
Yep, always wear a life jacket. I'm a pretty good swimmer. Always wear a life jacket. Bring water with you. Bring a hat. Somebody should know your float plan and when to expect you back. Have a waterproof case for your cell phone so that you can call it. And in these cases, when we're taking large groups of kids, we're staying close to shore. And there's more to see close to shore anyway. There's birds, there's periwinkles, there's vegetation. So it's always more interesting to stay close to shore, and it's safer because it keeps us away from the boat channels.
You talk about kayaking and close to shore and seeing nature and being close to it. The name of this show is Life Outdoors, and your job is outdoors. You work with the city of Norfolk. You're around the water. You're around the pools. You're around the ocean. The bay. You're around the waterways. But your personal life is almost as interesting. And we're going to take a short break and come back, and we're going to go down the Alligator River and beyond down in North Carolina and show you some pretty incredible stuff with Dan Jones. So stick around for that. Welcome back to Life Outdoors. I'm your host, Chris Reckling. I'm joined by Dan Jones, who is head of Beaches, Lifeguards, Aquatics, and Open Water for the City of Norfolk Parks and Recreation. In the first segment, we talked about the beaches in the Mermaid City. And the second segment, we talked about the aquatics and pool and some kayaking. And now we're going to dig deep into your personal life because not only do you teach it to others and you protect people in the city of Norfolk who are enjoying their life outdoors, but you're an avid outdoorsman who likes to do a little bit of everything.
I do.
Tell me, what turns you on these days? Because it's not just bike, it's not just the water, it's a little bit of everything, right?
I run trails. I will run trails today, and the muddier the better. So, and I don't care if it's raining, I can get out. It's all it is wet rain and mud. So I love to run on the beach. I love to run trails. I've got mountain bikes. I've got several kayaks. And in fact, several of my friends have my kayaks. So I encourage them to take their families out kayaking whenever possible. And I take my buddies out. We go on a guy adventure weekends down in the Outer Banks and go to the Alligator River Refuge. And I often do a trip down south. I call them my swamp trips. So I'll go down to the Okefenokee Swamp and get a cabin and stay there for the better part of a week, and bike from there and find new places and kayak. And I like to do it during alligator mating season because the gators are out and I get to see more of them. And sometimes the males don't really like my presence, but I get good video.
Can I just say how much fun it is to say Okefenokee?
It is. Okefenokee.
Okefenokee. All right. So you mentioned Alligator River down in the Outer Banks right there on the backside of Manteo. And you mentioned alligators, and it's called Alligator River. And people aren't really familiar with the fact that there are a lot of alligators there and black bear and all kinds of wildlife. And you get to see it on a regular basis. So tell me about some of your what you've seen. And I'm going to put up a little bit of video, some of the pictures that you've shown. There's your trusty mobile. You're packed and ready to roll right there.
Yep, and that's some of my buddies. We're getting ready to go on a biking excursion at Alligator River Refuge. That's Nag's Head Woods right there where I was doing a day hike. And that's actually Savannah Wildlife Refuge, and there was a big 14-foot gator right out in front of me there. This is my buddies I'm taking through a swamp in Alligator River Refuge. And I take dates too.
Oh, well, there you go. There's one of your friends.
That's a gator. That's in South Carolina, Santee, South Carolina. That had little babies on its tail. This is Alligator River Refuge.
Yeah.
There's some bears, lots of black bears down there.
Yeah. Do you know what they like to eat?
Well, they eat a lot of things. They like berries, but down there there's crops that they feed on. So there's corn and other crops that they're working. This is us crossing over a log that had felled in front of us. This is a big gator.
That's a big one.
To get close to it. My buddy Chuck. Yep.
I did. So I did a black bear trapping store years ago, and they trap them with donuts and sweets.
Sure.
They love that. They throw some donuts down there. Boom, they're suckers for it. But look at that beautiful wildlife. I mean, we have so much of that around here. I mean, Dismal Swamp, you name it. Like the Dismal Swamp Trail. I'm sure you've been on that.
Absolutely. There's and down in Pungo and that whole area is great paddling down there.
Yeah. So you mentioned trails. Let's dig into that. So First Landing State Park has some trails. What are some other trails, City of Norfolk? Because you can find them anywhere in Hampton Roads, and it doesn't even have to be the City of Norfolk. You can find any trail. So where do you like to run?
Yeah, just find a lot of times reservoirs will have nice trails around them too. Northwest River has some trails. It's good kayaking there too. Bob's Fishing Hole down that way. And that's great for paddling. And for running, you can make your own trail. Norfolk doesn't have a whole lot of wood trails. We have something at Northside Park. that you can get back there. It's actually not a bad little place to mountain bike. It's not a very long trek, but you can get out there. But make your own fun, make your own trails, and find a reservoir or a park that does have trails. Newport News has several trails wherever you can find watershed property that is protected. Then they're going to have wildlife, and they're going to have trails, fire trails, and maintenance trails that oftentimes you can run and bike on.
I know you've been Back Bay Wildlife Refuge down that way, Wash Woods.
I love it down there.
Yeah, it's just there's always somewhere to get out and see and explore. Some of the things that when you're with your buddies, you're once you've got everything mastered and you know what you're with, when you encounter wildlife, you have to understand them and not be afraid of them, but understand what you're dealing with. Because a gator protecting its nest or a bear with cubs, that's when it can be a little iffy. Other than that, they're just as afraid of you as you are. And you've seen plenty of snakes. You've been around them all.
Oh, yeah. The snakes, we want to be careful because there are rattlesnakes. There are cottonmouths and copperheads. But the gators, when I'm paddling, the gators usually stay away from you. And in fact, it's a challenge just trying to get video of them. The bears will almost run from you all the time. Some of the bigger bears they may not run, but they'll just kind of walk past you and not pay you any mind because they don't consider you a threat, the big bears. But most of them run from you. You feel like Tarzan out in the woods. Everything's running from you, and most of the animals will respect you, and we need to respect them back.
Yeah, I saw there's a snake there. Wild pig, they can be very aggressive. You just never know,
Yeah, I came across a boar down in South Carolina a few years ago, and it wasn't a real friendly boar.
Yeah, and you have to know how the heck to get out of there. If you're on a bike, it's a little easier. On your feet,
The bike comes in handy. You can put it between you and an animal if you need to, and you can also bike out
There's some
faster.
wild pig right there.
There were.
Okay, so it's always good when you're out in nature to see that, but it's not just the bigger animals. Bug spray, repellent, ticks, all that stuff comes into play. So Lyme's disease is real. I mean, so you have to be careful when you're out in Mother Nature.
Absolutely, and whatever bug spray works for you. I have a combination of the deep down low around to keep the ticks off of my legs, and then I'll go with something that's a little more palatable.
Yeah, whatever works for you. I mean, if it doesn't work for you, don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're coming down the home stretch now, and once again, we're with Dan Jones with the City of Norfolk Parks and Rec. And Dan, it seems like the people of Hampton Roads are very fortunate to have so many waterways, so many opportunities out there, and also in the city of Norfolk. What do you want people to know when they're out and enjoying everything in the city of Norfolk is when it comes to parks and aquatics? And first and foremost, take advantage of what you have, right?
Sure, and there's a lot of people don't realize there's so many waterways. We do have several kayak launches. Just make sure somebody knows that where you're going and when you're going, and that you protect yourself. And go with a partner. It's usually better to go, and take advantage of some of the parks and opportunities that we have. If nothing else, just get out and walk. A 30-minute walk at the end of the day. Connect with nature. Listen to the birds. Watch a squirrel, for a little while. And these are all things you don't get to see in your office. And there's the sunset every day. There's everything that we sometimes take for granted. Sometimes we just need to stop, like Ferris Bueller, and take a look around, and or we'll miss life.
Yeah, well said. And also, since you're head of lifeguards, you're always hiring, right?
We are. Yep.
Go ahead. Use this as an opportunity to, and not just for lifeguards, but I'm sure the city of Norfolk is hiring in so many different positions. So.
Everything, parks and recreation. We're hiring for rec centers, athletics, park rangers, straight across the board. But lifeguards, we encourage everybody to take a lifeguard training class and apply for a lifeguard job. We have seasonal positions and year-round positions.
And if nothing else, know how to give CPR. If you're not a lifeguard, but you can always help if need be. Anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, thanks for having me. This has been great, and I just encourage anybody, if you can get out and play on a regular basis, your life's going to be better.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about when you talk about the City of Norfolk Parks and Recreation. It's there for you, so take advantage of it. Once again, we hope you enjoyed this edition of Life Outdoors. We're new each week. Find it free on our Wavy app. Obviously, you did. Once again, for Dan Jones, the City of Norfolk, thank you for joining us here on Life Outdoors. You guys, don't forget to live your life outdoors.